Hey everyone, John here! And for the longest time, you may have heard that GameCube can output a higher quality image than a Wii. You may have even heard that Wii U is the best place to play GameCube games. It's a confusing topic, and there aren't really that many answers out there. It's just kind of taken at its word. So today, I want to explore all three systems, GameCube, Wii, and Wii U, to find out which actually plays GameCube games the best. And it is worth saying that all of these play them fine. You're not having a terrible experience with playing it on a Wii U or a Wii or a GameCube. But that's the boring answer. Let's put these things against each other and make them bleed. You may also be thinking, Wii U can play GameCube games? And yeah, much like how the Wii was just two GameCubes taped together, the Wii U is in many ways a stronger Wii, and I don't know how many GameCubes that is. It's much more of a power jump, but they're still based off the same architecture, so when the Wii U goes into Wii mode, it simply becomes a Wii with no performance benefits or resolution enhancements. Now, the scaling isn't perfect, and we have covered this before, but it's still good enough for those who only have HDMI inputs on their TVs and don't want to invest in a scaler like a RetroTink to bring a standard Wii to a modern display. The Wii U is convenient, and it's mostly fine. So, the Wii U, being a Wii, also means it's a GameCube. Since day one, the Wii U has had the capability to natively play GameCube games. But of course, it lacks physical controller inputs, and that can be fixed with a Smash controller adapter, which is very funny as this doesn't officially work on anything but Smash. Even in Wii mode games, this does not work. And also, the Wii U disk drive can't read GameCube Mini DVDs. But, using the Wii Mode Homebrew app, Nintendon't, you can load GameCube backups onto an SD card and very easily play any GameCube game in the system's library on your Wii U. So the Wii U can play Wii U games, Wii games, and GameCube games. If Nintendo wanted to, they could have sold digital GameCube games on the eShop with no effort on their part, just selling the ISOs. That's all they had to do, but they didn't want to. Anyway, which console has the best image quality for GameCube games? First, to make things even, I want to use the exact same cable on every single system. We're gonna use the Wii component cables, because of course the Wii uses this, but as does the Wii U. There's a native port right here next to the HDMI input. As for the GameCube, the GCHD Mark II allows you to use a Wii component cable on your GameCube. We're also using Homebrew to force the deflicker filter off to get the best and cleanest 480p output, and the results are incredibly similar. I put this to Twitter and didn't label which belongs to which system, and had people simply blindly pick which they thought was the best. And interestingly, most seem to be able to tell which was the weakest, and that was, in third place, Wii U. Wii U does scale Wii games incorrectly, and that carries over to GameCube games as well. It still looks pretty good, but it's not the best you can get. Second place though is very interesting. GameCube. Which means that half the voters actually thought that Wii offered the strongest video quality out of the three. And honestly, Wii and GameCube's results are so similar that there's not really an outright answer here. If we zoom in really close, I do feel that GameCube holds up slightly better, but at this distance, it doesn't really matter. So personally, I would give a slight edge to GameCube, but not by very much. While the component test keeps things level for all systems, in reality, things aren't level. You're not using a component cable with a Wii U, you're using HDMI. So, is HDMI a big enough jump to give Wii U an edge against GameCube and Wii using components? And unfortunately for Wii U, not really. If we zoom in on the HUD elements in Mario Golf, you can see that both GameCube and Wii maintain their sharp pixel density, whereas Wii U has started to form quite a blur. Of course, at a usual playing distance, Wii U does still manage to look pretty good, and is easily the most accessible HDMI solution. But no, Wii U via HDMI does not beat out GameCube and Wii via components. Pay attention to II's eyes here. II's eyes. On Wii and GameCube, you can still make out the sharp pixels around the eyes, whereas Wii U has surrendered, and is starting to group a mesh of blurry pixels. We are extremely zoomed in right now. Let's zoom out. Wii U definitely doesn't win, but it is still okay. But I would also say that Wii U doesn't have 100% compatibility with the entire library, as while every game should boot and work, Either the GameCube controller adapter or Nintendo software don't support the Game Boy Advance connections, so games like Nintendo Puzzle Collection, Four Swords Adventures, Pac-Man Versus, and Pokemon Colosseum will have more fulfilled experiences on GameCube and Wii. Wii's lack of compatibility is a lot more situational, but a very important one, of course, is the Game Boy player, as obviously there's nowhere to plug it into the Wii. This leaves GameCube as the premier place to officially play Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games on real hardware, especially if you're using Game Boy interface over the Game Boy Player disc, which is just kinda garbo. The Wii also doesn't support the broadband adapter or modem. Shame on you, Wii. And this is very important. The disc channel only has a static GameCube icon with no animation, so that is a pretty strong reason to keep your GameCube hooked up. You can't live without that. When it comes down to it, I think the answer is fairly clear. Wii U, while the most convenient out-of-the-box HDMI solution, does offer a weaker image quality both in component and HDMI. GameCube's quality may be just ahead of Wii, but it is so minor. If you've already got a Wii, then I wouldn't recommend shelling out for the official GameCube component cables or even a modern adapter. The Wii with component cables is so cheap, and the image quality is next to being the exact same. But if you've already got these GameCube solutions, then yeah, it makes sense sticking with the Cube over the other consoles. You can't really go wrong with any box, so don't worry if you've been thinking that Wii U is the best for over a decade now, because honestly, it doesn't matter that much. Wii U is a great place to play 3 native Nintendo libraries, but there are better options out there for those who really notice image quality. As it stands, number 1, GameCube. Extremely close in number 2, Wii, and then quite a bit further behind, but still fine, Wii U. And I know there's gonna be a bunch of comments saying, why not just use Dolphin? And buddy, you've just outed yourself as having not finished the video. You fool. Do you feel like a fool? And the reason we're not using Dolphin is because that is emulation. These are native systems. GameCube, Wii, and Wii U are not emulating a thing. They are playing GameCube games as if they are a GameCube, and in the GameCube's case, it is a GameCube. So anyway, thank you for sitting through this whole thing, and let me know what you think. Do you think GameCube is the best, or is the difference not noticeable at all? Maybe you think the Wii U looks exactly the same. I don't know. And if you are in that situation, good for you, because it's best not to see a difference. Once you see these differences, you get hung up on them, and it becomes harder to enjoy things in their purest form. So, good for you, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.